Lab, LAB.
Lab.
Now, want to welcome y'all for the 16th episode of season two. And we rocking right along and we bringing along our guests so we can get their stories out there so it can inspire, motivate, and, you know, get that left foot in front of the right foot or get the right foot in front of the left foot. Whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you move, we're here to make that happen for you.
It's pretty interesting that you bring up the right foot and the left foot. You know how you can tell what somebody is as far as like left-handed or right-handed is if you push them unexpectedly and see what foot they use first.
They brace up, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty like psychologically intuitive. That's pretty cool.
It is, but a lot of people don't pay attention to stuff like that because they like, well, you know, you'll never figure it out. It's like, yeah, okay, just give them a little slight push. Whatever foot comes out first to brace for impact,
Mm-hmm.
we can pretty much find out.
Yep. So yeah, man. So season two, episode 16. Just to give everybody a heads up that's out there in digital ones and zeros land listening to our broadcast, we will be taking a hiatus after the close of season two, which will be episode 20. So we're about what 2 more weeks away. 2 more weeks away
Two
from
more
that.
weeks away. Yep.
And then next weekend, Saturday, we are not gonna have an episode. I'm so sorry to disappoint everybody, all of our millions of listeners out there. It's my daughter's birthday, and I will not be here. And Lamont said
Happy birthday.
he's gonna celebrate my daughter's birthday from Germany. So
Yep.
all good there. All right. So without further ado, we're gonna be bringing back Dwayne Morton. Oh no. Okay, we got to change this
He's
up just a bit.
yeah. He's a producer.
Uh,
How'd that work?
yeah, I don't know.
Dwayne,
All right, Dwayne, we
man, you got the
gotta.
wrong link.
Yeah, I'll shoot you the right link right now.
Uh oh.
All right, use this one. All right, so nine F87. Yeah, no, that's good, man. We'll hang out here for and wait for you. So I don't know if you guys remember that Dwayne was here. Like one of our earlier episodes. Was that season one or was that season
That was
two?
season one. That was season
That
one.
was season one. Yeah. So Dwayne has had like a tumultuous life, to say the least. Um, he'll give us a little recap of what we spoke about before, and why we're bringing him back on today is to see exactly where things are with him, because I know that there's like newer things on the horizon for him, where things have turned around in his life that really is giving him the push to move forward, especially with what he is going to be conquering in his near future. So we're going to have that coming on right now. All right, let's see. Dwayne, what's going on? This is not good. Nobody can see or hear you. Uh, Still on the wrong link, brother. I don't know what's going on since you're using your phone now. Is there a way to clear the cache on the app? Is it a cookies thing? Okay, so I guess we'll get back to that in a minute. Lamont, you're muted.
I don't want to say this, in hopes of getting anybody upset, but it's the Trump effect, man.
So we could talk about headlines briefly. Things that made headlines here, and I'm sure it made national headlines too. Did you see what happened? Like Vladimir Zelensky is there in the White House, and they're having like a sit down one on one, and the president, Donald Trump, is like practically scolding him live in front of everybody else. Like, what is that? That is so
Well,
unbecoming of a president.
we've been giving billions to, aid and foreign aid to Ukraine, and I don't know. At this point in time, I don't know what Trump's plan is. I don't know if he's going in to help diffuse the situation or cause more problems. But either way, it's not looking good for Ukraine. Now, I'm not going to be the political party in this and say he needs to do a better job or he needs to stop doing his job or I don't know what the things are that's transpired is going on and it's going to be a problem. It's going to come to a head and it's going to be a bigger problem later on down the line. And what can we do about it? You know, we got one
Yeah, yeah.
representative, the head of state, and whatever he says behind closed doors is what it's going to be. Dwayne, welcome. Finally,
So
finally.
yeah, sorry.
Can
Dwayne,
you hear us
what's
now?
up, man?
Yeah, I just want to adjust this. Hopefully I'm straight. So thanks. First of all, I want to say thanks for giving me an opportunity to do all this troubleshooting. And so thanks to the listeners for sure. Um, believe we have everything situated now. Yes, last night me and Bob went through this, didn't have an issue, and then I've been having internet issues for a week and a half. So um, nothing like
It's
being able to come in to a podcast studio, have $500 worth of equipment, and not even able to use it, right? And even
oh
not even
man,
able to
five
use
hundred
the
dollars.
Bro.
What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's backtrack a little bit. five hundred
Dwayne,
dollars worth of
man.
equipment. What?
Dwayne,
What exactly are you using?
last night you
uh
said that you were struggling financially. That doesn't sound like you're struggling financially, dude.
No,
no, I
no.
had
My
some
mic
people.
costs $90. My
Yeah,
camera costs $20. My internet service is $29 a month. That's considerably less than $500 for equipment, man.
so I didn't pay $500 for it, but I'm just letting y'all know, like
Okay.
it's definitely like I've got XLR Rode mic and Sennheiser like headphones. Like, yeah, I had some friends that like really hooked me up. So
That's
they
awesome.
realized that I had talent,
Okay.
and they were like, hey, um, but yeah. So I want to thank the listeners for everything, and of course you guys. But so I have like a couple of house cleaning things I want to just kind of say. So first of all, I lost a really good friend of mine and a mentor of mine early in February, and so
Sorry to hear that.
that's really been a part of you know this journey. He's really helped me out. So my mentor was mentored by Jim Rohn and also mentored Jim Rohn, and so yes, that Jim Rohn, and so I don't always for a while I really didn't share that enough, and so I just want people to understand. Um, and then of course um, today coming on is a big anniversary for me. This is actually where the kickoff of me getting misdiagnosed. So I'm glad to do something special again with you guys. You guys had my first podcast. And so now you're actually getting the first podcast in March, which is the kind of the kickoff for me. And so I want to say that. And then, want to thank Carson for hooking us up, and just that whole thing. And so thank him for you know being a great friend, but also just introducing me to you guys. So, um, but
No,
yeah,
no
so
problem, man. We're here.
I
We're back. So
yep,
if you don't mind, let's backtrack just a little bit
yep,
and give everybody like a brief description of where you were at the first time we had you on Caps and Conversations, because I remember that, you know, nobody ever wants to be in the shoes that you were in. And that, that type of scenario, that type of problem, especially when you are within, like, the diagnosis of, like, some serious professionals here, the ones that guide our lives every single day. And then please just regale us with what happened with you
yeah.
briefly,
So
and touch on that a bit. Yeah.
yeah, so in 2006, I was diagnosed with a rare blood cancer, and they gave me 5 years. So that was something that I don't know if I had that information when I talked to you guys, because my
Hmm.
brother brought it to my attention. Hey, it was initially 5 years and then it went to 15 years. And so, I for 18 years that was a struggle bus, right? But the other part of it was, I was dealing with the police shooting also. So the anniversary of it is going to be 3 years here in May. And so I was involved in a police shooting. I was driving by a I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but I was driving by, a stray bullet hit the truck. If the bullet would have been 1/8 of an inch, it kills me. 1/8 of an inch to the right, it hits my little niece in the back seat, who's 3 years old at the time. So I was dealing with survivors guilt and PTSD. And so last year on March 8th, I found out that there was a 99% chance that I was misdiagnosed and I either had sleep apnea or COPD. So you can just imagine how I was. I was shocked. I was trying to figure it out. And then when I came on to y'all show early December, I had just really recently found out, hey, I'm 100%, there's no doubt in my mind that like I am completely misdiagnosed. Um, and so you guys were my first podcast, but you also were the first thing where it was like, hey, like let's check this out. Let's see what this is all about and see how I can share my story to update the listeners and you guys. I recorded 25 podcasts in January. Like
Whoa.
I was on pretty much any podcast that would have me. So I was learning, but my whole I'm aspiring to be a podcast host like you guys. But I'm also like I wanted to be a guest first before I hosted because I wanted to know what a guest felt like. And so that was the part of the journey. And so man, like 2025, man, has been amazing. I've been blessed with opportunities of like this person will introduce me to this person and this person introduced me to this person and me and those people are matched. So it's
Yeah,
really cool like how this all
they
worked out. Yeah.
they say that when you're getting into the podcasting world, that it's really good to have both perspectives, right? So like the same way that you're doing, you have an interest for having a podcast later on down the road, but to get things started and grab a feel for it, to be a guest on a couple of different podcasts and see how it all works. It's really cool that when I say they say, I'm talking about the experts, the people that say, hey, this is the journey you want to take. This is how to get there. So especially if you're trying to break out and have your own brand, um, that's one of the things where like I think we failed at Lamont. But of course, every failure is a lesson, and we
Yeah.
have to get ourselves out there to different podcasts to be guests.
Well,
Um,
yeah, I mean that's one of the things that we need to venture out in because we can't just isolate ourselves and just be like Caps and Convos. That's it. We gotta like Dwayne touched upon. It's networking. This person will introduce me to that person. That person introduced me to that person. It's a whole network, but it's like a spider web of a network. And once we get ourselves out there, it's almost like rolling that snowball downhill. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Now we started small because we didn't know what we was going to get into. That's where we failed at. But we didn't know what we was going to encounter, whether it was going to grow, whether it was going to be stagnant or stuff like that. But now we're in a spot where we need to venture out. We
yeah,
need to be on other people's podcasts. Like Brock was here last night. Um, we're going to jump over on his, as well as when Dwayne gets his up and running, we're going to jump over on his.
yeah.
But
Hopefully, Dwayne gives us an invitation to come on
I
his.
was about to say, man,
well,
you guys gotta get a little bit bigger. No, I'm just kidding. So here's the thing though.
yeah.
So but here's the beautiful thing about this though is like you guys came in it with a little bit of doubt. Like, hey, I don't have the best equipment, right? Like that's what you guys were
Mhm.
doing. Like I was like, hey man, I'm doing this. I know I have two powerful stories that other people need to hear. So I knew the
Mhm.
audience was there. It was just finding them. I mean, and honestly, my social media is not like where it's like other influencers. And here's the other thing is like I just became okay with being an influencer because I had
Mhm.
someone who was purpose driven to come talk to me and say, hey, this is what you're doing. This is what, but like you're like you're taking this curve and you don't need to take this curve. You need to keep going straight. And so that's one of the things that I want to share is that now I'm not worried about visibility. Before I was like, I don't want to piss off this person or I don't want to do this, right? Like now
Mhm.
there's no like some people are going to love you, some people are going to hate you. It's the same thing as athletics. I talk about all the time. 50% love you, 50% hate you, and the 50% love you could turn on you at any point because of a turnover, a missed shot, right? And so that's the
Mhm.
thing. I just feel we have to be very mindful about that kind of stuff. But I looked at it this way. I don't have another way in my ability other than me talk and share the story. So I had to share the story, and that's why I went the podcast route.
Now,
Awesome.
with those stories, how are you aligning it with any aspect of business, or are you just giving them a story so they can resonate with you, or is there something driven behind this story? I want to say,
So I wouldn't say it's driven. I'm purpose
okay,
driven. So the
yeah,
business part is secondary. The story is to teach people the lesson through the stories, right? So that's number
hmm
one. I want to leave the people off better, but I also want to be like, hey, if I'm going to do the one thing that I learned through doing your guys' podcast was it takes a lot of energy doing a podcast,
it
especially
does.
when you're talking about stuff from my perspective. I can only do 2 of these a day. I tried to do three, and three was like it's like I was trying to run a marathon. That just it doesn't work. Um, so as far as like monetization, I found some different things that they're going to be key components later on. Right now, they're just partnerships with different companies. So I know Bob's got one link for the debt consolidation company. I have some friends who own a debt consolidation company, and I have a very powerful story of financial, like just obliteration, right? And so these guys are helping me get my
Obliterations.
credit. Yeah, man, it's like
Obliteration sounds like really, really, really bad. Like I'm talking about, like, hundreds of thousands of dollars
no,
in
no,
debt.
no,
Did
no,
you
no, man.
reach?
And that's the thing. So that's the thing is, dude, is it's not gonna be. It would never be like that because I never had the opportunity to get like in that debt. That's the thing
Okay.
is like, so. But what I'm saying is like when you feel, hey, I don't have a way out. When especially when so here's the thing. We're creating this to create my nonprofit, and I can't really speak a lot about my nonprofit, but I will tell you this: it's hard to heal when you keep getting a bill. So you keep the trauma just keeps going back and forth when you keep getting these bills. And so we're going to work with some people and figure out how to do this. So this is a key component of it. So Bob, you can go ahead and drop the link. And so I partnered with some friends of mine at Triton Financial. They are like mom and pop people on the debt consolidation part. And so they also like help people rebuild their credit. And so through that, you have to have at least 20K of unsecured debt. And so if you have 20K or more credit card debt, you're like, I, this 30% interest, like I'm gonna be paying on it for the rest of my life. This is a program for that to be able to happen. And so I feel like that was very important. And like I said, it's also like it's strategic partnership for later down the road. So
Let's talk about more the nonprofit exactly. Like where who is your nonprofit gonna be serving?
it's going to be serving people who are trauma uh, related. So, for me, I was diagnosed with a cancer, right, in 2006. So, just to put this in perspective, because we're talking about the financial part about, with the microphone, $500. Like, so here's the deal. If I would have stayed at my job in 2006, I was making around $55,000. If I never got a promotion and I always stayed, if you do the math at 20 years, that's $1 million. I lost $1 million of potential earnings. So that didn't go into 401k. Like I don't have access to that. And so that's the reason why, this nonprofit it's a huge part of the story. Um, the other aspect of it is it kicks off that it helps everyone. 60% of Americans are in debt right now with credit card debt um, over 20K credit card debt. But they're just think about it. Every time you have to make that payment, you're just making minimum payment. You're like you're prolonging it. And so these people, they came from the other part of the sector. They came in from the part where the one size fits all. And what they've done is they created this um, company on the fact that they want to help people. And so that's the reason that I'm supporting them. That's the reason that they support me is that we're looking at something a little bit bigger. I'm gonna move me over so I can see Lamont because my face is blocking.
So
All right.
you've already like partnered up with them, and I guess that
Absolutely.
they're taking care of your consolidation right now.
Yeah, we're doing the final paperwork right now. but like I've partnered with those guys. Like it is a great relationship, but it's also going to be a really great relationship for everybody else. And
So I
so,
don't mean to be like, too. I don't want to pry too much here. Okay, so how much debt are we talking about? We know that it's over 20K. What is your
yeah,
debt?
so it's 20K or more in credit card debt. So it's unsecured debt. So if you have, it's not going to cover like houses, cars, that type of thing, or student loans, government loans. But when you drop the link, just have the people, if you have over that, like it's not going to come to me. That people who are my friends can check out this stuff, talk to those people. It's going to be very discreet. I'm not going to know about it. I think that's a lot of people are embarrassed, like but man, like. And
I
that's the
think
thing is, I haven't told people how broke I've been for all this time because I didn't want to be embarrassed. Here's the point: is I'm being so transparent about everything else. Why not just be transparent and say, hey, like my landlord in Louisville helped me and my brother out all the time. Like if it wasn't for my brother, my mom, and my dad, I don't know where I would be. I really don't.
And see,
Here,
here's the thing: the biggest thing in the, I don't want to say just in the industry, but in common life, is people have lack of financial, I want to say,
like
knowledge.
education.
Financial
Yeah.
literacy, but also, man,
Yeah, yeah.
that goes to the school system, man.
Uh,
You can't tell me that we shouldn't be teaching kids how to properly manage money in high school. I know I wasn't, right? We had home ec.
no,
I was taught how to fry an egg. But I mean, and that's the thing is, what's more valuable? I mean, I'm just being honest. Or here's the other
no,
thing,
it's
and but here's the other thing is, what about when I was in art class and I was worried about how to draw a freaking log cabin? Like, there is no, it's not helping me in life. But if I had knew money management, then I wouldn't have probably went to college. So then that would cut them off. And so I think that's part of it. Is like
Well,
they want us
the
to
whole
go to
idea,
college.
that.
the whole idea of the system is to keep you in debt. That's the
Mm,
whole reason, like, schools
Yeah,
exist. They're not going to teach you how to be, successful and on your own. No, they're going to teach you how to live in the system. Remember one of the first episodes we did, Lamont, that was like comparing the school system to prison systems,
yeah,
and how,
oh
like,
yeah.
the sound of the bell would like move you
yeah,
from point A to point B to the lunchroom to the
yeah.
PE room. It's the same thing. Like they're not going to teach you how to, lift up, come
Survive
up,
on your
and
own.
and
Yeah,
and be great. Yeah, no, it's not even
they.
survive. It's like they're going to keep you down as much as possible so that they can stay wealthy on their side. The longer they
Well,
keep
you
you
gotta.
down, the more wealthy they are.
Yeah,
So
but you got to look at it the way they teach it now. Is just like they just giving out basic. I want to say survival skills, but it's survival enough that you still gonna need the system. You
yes, you
know,
have to have the
it's
assistance. You have to have the
yeah.
assistance. So I just want to share more about where it involves with me is like I wasn't able to get in anything like that. So just to let you guys know, I was stretchered out of my job the day before I got fired because of FMLA,
Mhm.
and um, they tried to take away my unemployment. So, and that was the other thing is like same thing. Like I even tried to use the system, and that's what I'm trying to say is I tried to utilize the system, and it still did not work for me. Like with disability, I went through the process, and like they were just like, I don't know what to tell you. The problem was I would have never been able to go the 90 days to a job to actually be responsible and be there. And so I just never had a lot. I didn't have any opportunities. When I had opportunities, I would get sick. Same thing when I was in the mortgage lending industry. I had one of the worst probably breakdowns of my whole entire life. Like, so I'm just telling you, like I was smart enough to compete to I was smart enough to complete a test for the loan originator off the NMLS, right? That is like compared to the bar. I completed that test, but I couldn't last a year in that industry because it stressed me out. And so that's the whole thing, man. Is like, I'm being so transparent for people because I want people to understand that like our nightmares are other people's dreams.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
really is, man. And so Because today is like has that anniversary part. So I want to tell this, and I don't want to like I Triton's great. I've that company. I truly believe that they'll take care of you. But like I want to come. The reason that I chose this date, and when this date was chosen, was like, oh, I've got to come on. So this is how I found out I was misdiagnosed, guys. My doctor moved to Chicago. My oncologist moved to Chicago. We got a new doctor. I had a visit on March 1st, 2024. I needed a blood treatment, which is just a phlebotomy. They would not do it until I saw the doctor. Okay, so I had to see the oncologist before I could have the blood treatment. I was bad. I'm just letting you guys know, like I wasn't feeling good. I was mad. So for a
No,
week, I'm
man,
like,
it's crazy because it's like they're making it impossible for you to survive. What
yes.
is
So
that?
the way this works is my blood was so thick that like it puts me every day I go, gives me a higher risk of a stroke or a heart attack. Okay. I'm already stressed out. I'm dealing with the shooting, right? And I'm just like I'm being transparent of like where I was a year ago. So I, I'm showing the victim mentality part, right? I was so mad. I was like, man, I can't believe this dude's like doing this to me, right? Blah blah blah. So for a week, when I first saw him, I was thinking, I'm like, I'm about to tell this dude everything that's on my mind. I'm like, I am about to say, hey, I don't know what's going on. Who like I was about to go off. This dude
I think
walks
the more
in.
appropriate I think the more appropriate thing would have been like, I think that when this guy walks through the doors, I'm going to put both of these hands around his neck and watch the
Dude,
knife
dude,
leave.
I no, no, I mean,
Not tell him what's on my mind. No, I'm gonna strangle this guy because
I,
it's
I,
like they get to a point. They get to a point where they're all high and mighty, and it sounds like your previous oncologist was at that point, like Dr. House syndrome. It's like give me a freaking break. You're not that
yeah,
guy.
Bob, man. So this is what's crazy. The guy he walks in and he says, hey, this is gonna be really hard for me and really hard for you. And I was just like, what? Like hard for you? Like, what are you talking about? And he said, he was like, dude, he goes, I don't feel like you have this. He goes, and he said, I feel you have COPD or sleep apnea. And I was like, oh. And then my next comment was, are you sure? But today is the anniversary of when I first came in and I was like, so for this whole week, last year, I was mad at the guy who I never met. And then I met the guy who's like, let me release me. So it is definitely an anniversary. And I wanted to put that out there to tell you guys, like, sometimes we find miracles and when we're dealing in the muck. And so I want to share that part with people and, be really transparent. So I'm glad I was able to do that today. And so this
So
whole week, man, is just, yeah.
let's fast track to where you are now and where you want to go. What does that
Yeah,
look like
absolutely.
for you in the next couple of years, or the next couple of months even? Let's not do the years yet. Let's
Yeah,
do the
man. So
months.
the next couple of months, I feel like I'm gonna have a podcast that's gonna have some really big guests on it. I mean, I already have a couple of influencers already said yes. I got a friend of mine who's an actor who his wife wrote. He's in my mentor tree of Jim Rohn. I actually met this guy on
Hmm.
a random Zoom that I just went to, and we just realized that we have the same mentor that is in Louisville, Kentucky. And so that was the
Hmm.
thing. And so me and him just started talking. But so me and him are doing some different projects. Um, I wish I would have sent this, um, but I didn't even think about it. But I'm also showing a digital business card,
Hmm.
so I could show the link to you guys right now and have a video. It's called Pitch 59. So I have that too as another project. And so the thing is I don't want to just be an affiliate, guys. Like I've done the affiliate
No,
stuff.
you got the affiliate stuff is cool, it's passive and stuff like that. But
Yes.
when you become an owner of your own stuff or your own
Yep.
product or your own services, that's where you start to change it to a different realm of business. You know,
Right.
um, we
Well,
all started at that mentionable part where we said, okay, I want to start something, but I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. So we become an affiliate to learn how these things, these intricate parts work. And then when you start, mastering those kind of skills, then you say, okay, I'm my own product. I have my own service. But now it's your turn to, cross the T's and dot the I's and say, you know what, now's the time to do it. And if I don't do it, I keep saying, well, tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it next week, and it never happens. So you got to keep on that and just say, you know what, either it's going to be one day or day one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love this question, and what I want to say is, so I know I told you guys show up to win. Like that's that was I feel like that was a lifestyle brand, and so I'm working on it. I'm doing a course. I'm teaching a course on how to overcome adversity and unlikely and untimely circumstances. I feel like I'm an expert, guys. I've done it twice, right? So I just talked to a guy earlier this week, and he was like, "You're so dynamic." He's like, "I want you a part of my team." He's like, "We go around and use basketball. We utilize basketball to get people in, and we either coach or we minister them." And so that's part of the journey too. But show up to win, Bob. I put that, so I'm giving everybody here a link, and it will notify you when the site goes live, the course. But what it also will do is it'll give you my morning routine. And so my morning routine is, I feel like, what got me through those 18 years, because every day I would, no matter whatever you feel like is a small achievement is actually like a really big jump for somebody. And so every morning I woke up, I thank God for blessing me of that day, because a lot of people didn't have that. The other part is I believe in movement. So if I just got up and I used the bathroom and I grabbed a glass of OJ, that was a win for me. Like, that was a win that day. And then I could go crawl in bed and sleep the rest of the day. And that's kind of what I'm telling you guys. That's where I was. That's where my mindset was, even when I felt like crap. I just was like,
to like two guests where we had Marla Ballard on the show, and you guys know each other, right?
Yep.
You called her
your
Kentucky sister.
She got connected to you guys through my podcast. She came on, and I know her really well. And so there's an app that we do too, is it's called Empower Me. I use the app. It uses biometrics, and so there's the other link that, Bob, you can drop. So I know the owner of the company, You to Shine, and so they have this app called Empower Me, and so it uses biometrics to give you what you need that day. And so I use it every day. It's a great app. I know Marla probably went more in detail with it, but it's with quantum healing. So biometrics reads your energy and tells you what you need that day right then. And so it's an amazing piece. There's a global initiative to have a million apps installed on people's mobile devices over the year. And I don't know what number they're at right now. So I want to help push that global initiative. So I want to get that out too. So like, I highly suggest it. It was the hypnosis and those things that were like, got me to here. The quantum healing got me to here.
Hold on a second. So hypnosis, dive into that a little bit. Like you've been to some place where they've hypnotized you. Like, what was?
I actually did it. No, man, I did it online.
Yeah, you can do that self.
You can do it self, but you're not going to get the same results, man. Is like, this dude is a master hypnotist, Lamont. Like, it's different. I mean, like, Tony Robbins sees this guy as a peer. So I mean, and I've got friends who can do hypnosis. Okay, they cannot put me to rest like this guy can. Like, I'm asleep, but like, I'm aware. That's what I was going to say, is like, if you've never been through it. But so I have sent, I believe, 70 people to him in his master classes. So like, I highly suggest Chuck DeBroder. If anybody wants to know more about hypnosis, like, let me know and I can get you in that guy. I mean, he works with all kinds of athletes, musicians, speakers, UFC fighters. Like, he works with everybody.
Tell us more about your experience with the hypnosis. Like, what was the outcome? Like, what was the desired goal for you through
The,
hypnosis?
so the desired goal for me was to deal with the trauma. And so what happened was I did a recording that he did, and my posture changed. I stand up straighter. I learned how to walk on my toes. I do not walk on my toes anymore, guys. And that was off of a recording. And then 2 days later, he took my trauma that we were talking about, the misdiagnosis and the shooting that was like a level 9, level 10 trauma, and made it neutral. Like I can talk about this and go take a nap. Like before, I would be upset. I would have to go get, I would get mad or those type of things. So yeah, I mean, I truly believe in that type of stuff. And the thing is these aren't new things. These have been done for thousands of years.
You know, I find it amazing that the human mind can be tapped into like that, to where it could, like, really change your behavior. And it's crazy because it's kind of like ties back to how it was, when you were in school, and how everything is programmed, for
Yeah.
you to be psychologically, ready to go to prison.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things because when I hit my depression hit my depressive state when I started to see myself go down, I said I got to do something. In Germany, I couldn't find an American doctor that I can actually talk to, and the biggest thing about it was I had to do it all by myself. So me and my German doctor, we he gave me a set of pills that I needed to take because it's formalities.
Hmm.
I hope he's not watching this because I only took half of them. I was like, yeah, this is not the road I wanted to go.
Yeah.
So I started journaling it, and thank you, Tylisa, for coming in because Tylisa is one of the biggest influences out there as far as journaling for gratitude. And not knowing her, I started already doing this, and then I said, there's other people doing this too. It helped me to a point where I started looking for more and more and more. So not only was I journaling, I got into hypnosis, and you have to be at a certain state of mind to put yourself under. It's doable, but it's not for everybody who's not in that frame of mind. Now
You,
I've done it. I've done it, and I have rewired certain parts of my brain, and I can tell. Maybe not everybody else can tell because everybody look at me and say, "Oh, you're the same person." No, I'm not.
Hmm.
No, I'm not.
no. It,
Because a lot of the things that I gave emotions to, I don't give anymore. A lot of the things that mattered in the world, and it doesn't matter to me, I don't worry about it anymore. A lot of stuff that if I can't directly affect the outcome, I don't even think about it anymore.
yeah.
Because it's nothing. It's nothing. I would take that and put it all on my back and say, okay, let me wear this and let me try to figure out the problem. Well, you're in the United States. You're in the United States. I can't possibly help you right now. So if you're going through a problem that I can't fix, either I can direct somebody to come help you, but it's no longer on my mind to say, well, I can't let this eat me alive and say, well, I can help you. I can't. I can't help everybody, but I can send some help for you. I'm in that state of mind to know that, I'm not going to, kill myself trying to help the next person and I can't. You know what I mean?
So
So,
one of the things, Lamont, that people have to understand about hypnosis is like if I was a drug addict and I want the drug, like
mhm,
hypnosis does not help you because I want
no.
it. But the things that like I want to change, it will do that. So that's the thing. If the addict does not want to do it, then hypnosis would be fine. But if they really want it, it's like it's not going to work. And so that's the thing is like it. I feel like it's the quickest route to get you the results that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And if you're truly serious, now it's going to bring up some other things that uh, and that's the thing is like we're always a work in progress. Like
Always. Always.
I
I
had a
agree.
guy the other day, and he was like, I know you're on this trauma journey. Like we're trying to figure out where you're at. Are you like 90%? I'm like, man, I'm like an alcoholic, dude. Like every day is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at one day at a time. Like, I'm not looking at it like, hey, I'm healed. Like, I'm healed to the point that I feel like I'm at it's the perfect timing. Like right now, I'm at this perfect timing of where I need to be right now.
Yeah.
And later on, like I'll get past that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. The process, the journey, the whole everything when it comes to healing, it takes time, especially when it comes from a traumatic experience. I know I've had my fair share, and I'm not saying that mine outweighs everybody else's. And those who have suffered traumatic experiences should never go into life that way, thinking that
Yeah.
yours is above anybody else's. I've always thought that, like, I guess you can say it's a safe place for me in my mind when I think that you or things that have happened to you are enough for you to handle. And unfortunately, that's not true. That's not true. That's why there's so much, loss of life, or people fall into depression, or they fall into
Yeah.
alcoholisms or other gateways to release them. But when people desire to look for assistance and they look to heal, that's where the journey begins. And it's kind of like entrepreneurship. We tell everybody all the time, it's like when you decide to make that choice to go into that realm, that's when it all starts, from that
Yeah.
decision. So I applaud all of those people that are going through their stuff, that are
Yeah.
going through their trauma and have taken the step to go out and find help. Without
And
help,
there's
you're not
there's
going to
one-
get anywhere.
yeah, and there's one thing Dwayne touched on. It's when you're healing. It's I've gone through this personally myself. I've learned that you have a lot of pockets inside you. When I say pockets, I mean no matter what you're going through, if you don't like what's going on, you stick it in a pocket. This is my example of it.
Yeah,
So if
out
I'm
of
having
sight,
a
out of
hard
mind.
time, I'll stick it in the pocket. I'll stick it in the
Yeah.
pocket. But when it all comes to head and you find that one big trauma that you're trying to, get out of, or let's say I was in my depressive state. When I tried to get out of that, I kept tipping those other pockets, turning over other things that I had actually hid, and it brought it all to the top. And I was like, now I'm dealing with exactly too much. When you try to heal one thing, the next thing that you totally forgot about, it comes out of the woodworks. And that's what took me so long to get out of my depressive state, because I didn't know I had so many pockets. But I also know that when, excuse my language, I'll edit this out later. When shit hits the fan, I was like, look, my back's against the wall. I got to do something. So let me stuff it in this pocket. And the quickest way to get over something is to accept it. I didn't want to accept nothing. You know, I kept everybody was to blame. Shoot, I don't know why this wall is white. It's to blame. I don't know why this dartboard is behind me. It's to blame. I was blaming everything but what I had right in front of me, and that was the biggest thing. And Dwayne, I appreciate you coming on, being so candid, being so open, and letting people know your story, because there's a lot of people out there might not be just like you, but along the same lines as you. And there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. So I appreciate you saying that. I want to say this because this is something that one of my mentors from the Utah Shine group, the owner, she said, she goes, the victim mentality is when you feel like things happen to you. Okay. I probably September I quit, and then I realized that these things I felt like were happening for me. Right, it's giving me a platform. It was giving me all these things, and she was like, no, no, no. She's like, actually, she's like, when it really hits you and you really understand, it happens
Mhm.
through you. It happened because you were strong enough to handle it, and I'm facilitating the lessons to you guys. So like you don't have to go through the muck to go through it. And so
Yeah.
yesterday, have you ever seen a dam open up after being years and years, like the dam's been locked? Have you ever seen that video before?
Never seen it.
Watch that video. Like, so what it does is all the muck, all the mud, all the dirt, all that stuff is the rocks come out first. So it looks like it's all black, man.
Mhm.
It looks nasty. It looks like if we opened up the sewage of a city, all right? All that stuff comes out first. Same thing. I feel like in 2024, my dam got unlocked. All the victim mentality stuff, all the stuff that like was there was coming out. Right now, the water is just starting to come out right now at this anniversary. The other thing is like I can't compare my journey to Lamont's or Bob's. You can't compare yours to mine. We get in this comparison mindset, and that hurts us like a lot. And so we just need to be really mindful when we start comparing ourselves to other people. We don't need to compare ourselves.
Yeah.
We're a one-on-one no matter where we go. So we can learn things from each other, but what we have to know is we have to realize that my intuition is what I need to follow. My discernment is what I need to follow. Like I know what's going on with me. And so just to let you guys know, when I was originally diagnosed, I didn't feel like I had this. I was like, so for 5 years, I was like, no. I would try different diets. I'd try different things to see if it was something that I was doing. And I needed to rest.
But
that's the other thing. Yeah. So I want to.
There's power. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just want to say this. This is the thing I want to say about entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs. If anyone tells you to grind 24/7, you need to go tell them to go fly a kite, because they never did it. They're full of shit. It's just you have to rest. God rests on the seventh day. So you're telling me that like he rested? Why am I?
Yeah, no, it doesn't work out.
So I'm just saying, like,
take a break.
Because, dude, that's what I was doing. I was working 20 hours a day, sleeping 4 hours. Look where it got me. And that's what I want people to know, man. You can't do that. You cannot do that.
Not at all.
Yes. Sorry.
So sorry, but we are coming to a close for today's session. And Dwayne, brother,
let's do some Q&A. Let's do some Q&A. If anybody got any questions out there, hit them up right now in the comments. That'll be good. But burnout is real. So
burnout is very, very real. And Dwayne, man, I want to thank you so much for bringing light to a lot of the stuff that was on the plate today, because there was a lot to unpack, man. Like, so going back over your previous journey, and with the whole misdiagnosis of that rare blood cancer and stuff, and then moving on to like the things that you have coming up right now, with the Empower Me app, with the whole debt consolidation stuff. That's really cool because, like you said, 60% of Americans are in some sort of debt. That's probably far past $20,000. And thank you again so much for also sharing your morning routine with us.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I really truly believe those 4 things is what when I was mindful enough to do all 4 of them, that's where my whole life changed. It's just being consistent. Like, be consistent with the small steps.
Hey, hold on a second. I missed that one, Lamont. What did he say?
Here's a question from Derek Daniels. What did you start with when you realized you needed a change?
When I needed a change, man. So
when you needed a change, yep.
Different in the period of that 18 years, there was different times where I stepped up, and it wasn't my time. That's the thing. You have to understand when it's your time or not. I wasn't healthy. So like, that's how I discovered network marketing. I didn't have an able body, so I had to go find able bodies. So I dove into network marketing, right? So that's the thing is like, I don't know him personally to be able to like coach him. But what I would say is like, I would need more information and context. But what I would tell you is if you aren't spiritual, that's probably one thing you probably need to look into, because usually when obstacles like start blocking, that's usually showing that your higher self is really showing up and being like, hey, you need to move to another something doesn't align with you. We'll talk up. I would say something is out of alignment, and what that is. That's the thing is, what that is. There's something in your life that you're doing and you're aware that you're not doing to the fullest.
Yeah. For sure.
So I would say that would be the number one thing I would look at.
That's awesome.
Understood.
That is
Understood.
absolutely awesome. Well, Dwayne, if you don't mind, we're gonna set you into the back room and hang tight, okay? Don't
Okay.
go
Yep.
anywhere. We want to make sure everything gets uploaded properly, if you don't mind. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Man, it was great having Dwayne back on here again, man. So much
Yeah.
is happening in his life that is just amazing, amazing. I think he's got, look, personally speaking, Dwayne, I know you can hear me back there. I think you got a lot on your plate, and I hope that you'll be able to unpack and get all of those things situated. But the amount of programs you got going on, geez Louise, that's that's Louisville size on the plate.
Well, I know he touched upon metrics, but biometrics, but metrics is in the name. So
Metrics is
take it for
metrics.
what it's worth. Metrics is metrics. Take it for what it's worth. But
Yeah,
it's aspiring to see somebody that climbs out of, I want to say, purity hell, because I don't know. I don't think there's a doctor on this earth that can tell me, okay, you have something, you have a condition that it may be terminal, it may be not, and doesn't affect me any kind of way, because it will affect you, especially if it's coming from a person of such stature as a doctor telling
from
you
an
this.
authority.
Now,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Now, if Bob, I know you're not a doctor, but if you tell me, hey,
No,
man, yeah, you tell me, I'll take it as a grain of salt.
yeah,
I'll be
you
like,
got
yeah,
a you got a
get out of
spot on
here.
your neck. You got a spot on your
Yeah,
neck, and it looks cancerous.
yeah, yeah. It's not cancerous. I was working under my car the other day. It's oil. You know,
This oil.
But if you go into the doctor with that same oil spot, and you be like, the doctor say, well, we got to take a biopsy of that, and we got to check that, and from that point to the time you get your results back, your mind has gone haywire. You
Yes,
know.
yes.
So if a doctor was to tell me, hey man, we needed to look at that, I'm like, we need to look at what? It's just a smudge. No, no, we need to look at that. I mean, I
Doctor
don't
says.
know how. I can't come back from that. And if
Doctor
I
says
do
I need
come
a
back from that,
vacuotomy.
yeah, yeah. Well, we're gonna take a chunk out of your neck. First of all, you're not gonna do none of that. Um,
Yeah.
what I suggest you do is take some blood, and then we can go from there. No, no, no. We need to do a biopsy. You got to stick a needle in your spine. We got to pull this out, and nah, nah.
Yeah.
But I commend
That's
him for
crazy.
at least getting it this far in his life, because it's been tragic, in the beginning, and
For sure.
it's proof that anybody can climb out that hailstorm of fire to be okay with life, and live life on your own terms, and that's what he's doing right now, so I commend him on that.
For sure. Absolutely. Well, I want to thank everybody for making it out to another episode today. We really appreciate that you guys are hanging out with us, especially with our guests and asking questions. We really, really, really appreciate all of you guys, especially those that are at work and should be working, but instead have taken the time out to listen to us.
Yeah.
um, if you guys are out there, we'd want to like share something with you. We've been working on this for a little bit of time now.
Mhm.
So if you can, please do follow us on Spotify. That'd be fantastic. And please don't forget, we do have our little store where we sell a couple of things from Caps and Convos. We're actually going to be wearing our stuff within 2 weeks. Actually, I'll tell you what, the anniversary is going to be when we get back from vacation. So after our
Woo-hoo.
20th episode, we'll have
Wait a
our,
minute.
our
Wait a
gear.
minute. Don't close so quick, because my arms look good on camera. Hold on. Starting to start to.
Get ready.
Well,
Get
you know
ready.
what? Yeah, no. It's no more
What?
quarterback for me. This is.
Come
I
on. Yeah.
mean, I can still do it, but I'm not like medically fit for that, because I always told myself, if anything in football, I'll die out there on the field, and I said that when I was young. For me to say that now, to be like, nah, because that's speaking it to existence. I don't want to do that.
Hey, well,
But I
everybody, from Caps and
I'll play you in
Conversations,
Madden any day, though.
from Caps and Conversations, keep your hats on, keep your conversations light, and we will see you next time.
Cheers.
All
All
right.
right, all right, all right. Let's bring Dwayne back.